The following podcast contains alcohol-enhanced conversations about alcohol, as well as the potential for the discussion about topics of dubious, disturbing, possibly offensive, but usually hilarious interest. The opinions stated herein are solely of the persons making them, and any endorsement of these opinions by any other party is not implied. Foul language is likely, but intolerant viewpoints are not. Listener intoxication is advised. Hello and welcome to episode 32 of the Whiskey Tangent Podcast. I'm Scott.
I'm Ed. Let's start again.
Ed's a little down this week.
Yeah, it's all right.
Just say, I'm Ed.
I'm Ed.
And today we begin what we hope is the first in our ongoing occasional series of episodes that we're calling the United States of Whiskey.
Tonight we'll have one down and 49 to go.
That's right. Wherein we pick a state and review and discuss the whiskey created by the numerous small distillers in that state. We're starting off with what might be a strange choice to some, the state of Tennessee, which of course, like Kentucky, has a long history of industrial-sized distilling. I mean, Jack Daniels, anyone? But is also home to lesser distillers with a long history, as well as a new crop of craft distillers looking to make some waves in the vast, unremitting ocean of whiskey that represents today's distilling business. And joining us today on the first stop of our American distillery road trip is the mayor of Jackie's Crossing and director of photography, social media, and human resources for the Whiskey Tangent Podcast, the lovely and talented Shavonne.
Hey, everyone. That is a lot of duties.
Yeah, it's a lot. Get to work.
just wading through all my HR complaints. That's alone. Like, they've made it a Google form, I hear. It's electronic now.
How does the HR person sit down an employer that she actually works for and tells them,
Right. Well, that's for you to figure out. Right. So the car's all gassed up. We brought some snacks, emptied our bladders, and Ed's going to take the wheel and let us know which Tennessee distillers we'll be visiting, as well as which Tennessee whiskeys we'll be drinking and enjoying tonight.
That's right, Scott. Thank you so much. So I guess the biggest one and the most veteran one that we're going to be drinking tonight would be the George Dickel distillery. I've just simplified the name. It's a much longer journey of that distillery, but George Dickel is a name that you see a lot. You can get their 8 and 12 versions. And what's funny is I really like their marketing style. Like, they have an 8 and they have a 12, but it's not 8 year or 12 year. But it kind of makes you think it is when you first look at it, because there's like an 8 on the bottle.
Really?
Yeah, it's like George Dickel 8 and then George Dickel 12.
Yeah, I thought that was the year.
No.
Oh.
And then, so the one that was kind of making waves was a bottle and bond. It was hard for us to get, but I finally found one.
Yes.
And this changes a bit. I mean, I've seen it at 13 year. I got the 11 year. And the other established one that's new, but has a long history, I guess is why I meant it's established, and hasn't been around that long, is Uncle Nearest. And we're going to be doing the 1884 small batch whiskey.
I just have to interrupt real quick and say that some people want their uncle the farthest.
Yes.
That they
Yeah.
possibly could ever get them.
Right. I made the joke that Uncle Nearest me is an asshole.
Right. So we're going to be tasting both of them first.
Yes.
And then a smaller, what you would call a boutique distillery by some people, who seems to be getting more and more popular, is Corsair Distilleries. And they have a lot of interesting products. They sent us two interesting expressions, the Dark Rye and then a triple smoke, which I know has got Scott excited and me sad. 'Cause I don't like anything really smoky.
Yeah, because it's an American single malt.
Right.
And it says it's only slightly smoky, but we will find out.
Right. So Uncle Nearest, first of all, is an actual person, Nathan Nearest Green, born in 1820.
Furthest from yellow. Nearest green. Furthest.
Oh, God.
Nearest green.
Wow, that's so obscure.
Furthest from
All
yellow.
of my jokes are just...
The problem with having super intelligent people on the podcast is that happens. An obscure reference that she puts together in her intricate mind that the rest of the people are like, what the fuck did that mean?
Huh? I'll just put the crickets. It'll be great.
Oh, no crickets. Put like popcorn corner cows mooing or something.
Oh, cows mooing. Interesting. Go ahead, Ed.
Oh,
Continue.
it's okay. I'm a sentence into it. No reason to go ahead. Get it out of your system so I can read.
No. All right. Go
No,
ahead.
we're fine. Go ahead.
All right. So nearest green was born.
We are already off the rails. Continue.
So to sum up again, Nathan Nearest Green was born in 1820 into slavery, and even after the Emancipation Proclamation, he stayed on working in the whiskey industry, which he got into at an early age. And so one of the whiskeys is named 1820 after his birth, and then there is one that's named 1856, and it's believed that in that year, when Jack Daniels was 10 years old, that's when they first met. And in 2017, Brown-Forman, who owns Jack Daniels, actually placed Nearest Green as their first master distiller.
Really? Wow.
So evidently, as Jack Daniel was coming up, he was influenced strongly by Nearest to the point where he supposedly, according to legend, taught him the charcoal filtering process that has made Jack Daniels have its distinctive taste for the better part of a century. So,
Wow.
And then the expression we're doing tonight, the 1884, is named after the year that supposedly Nearest Green last put whiskey into barrels and then retired. And he died in 1890 at the age of 70. And for Jack Daniels to actually go back, do the research, and acknowledge him as their first master distiller, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So now the whiskey that we're looking at today, which is the 1884 premium, which is a word that means nothing, small batch, which actually is a word that means nothing.
Right.
But it's a 7-year-old minimum whiskey. According to them, Uncle Nearest has a unique taste, also a throwaway word.
Everything's very generic so far.
But Fawn Weaver, who's the CEO and the co-founder of Uncle Nearest Premium Whiskey, she selects each barrel by hand. But part of the company's staff is Victoria Edie Butler, the great-great-granddaughter of Nearest.
Oh.
She's a shareholder of Uncle Nearest Whiskey and its director of administration. So just like Shavonne, she has many, many different diverse
She
jobs.
has a lot of titles.
Yes.
Right.
But you know what I will say? I bet she doesn't have consigliere in her title.
No.
Oh, I have it, sir.
I just didn't realize we'd bestowed that. on
Oh, yes.
No, she's bestowed it on herself.
her. Oh, I see.
By
Well-
virtue of the fact that being the HR manager, she
Right.
hired herself as the consigliere.
Oh,
because
right.
technically, you know, with everything that's at the helm,
Right.
I'm kind of...
You're pulling the strings.
Yeah,
Right
I'm
now.
pretty sure that she'll stage a power move and actually depose me out of my own podcast. She'll take the board of directors and they'll have a vote, and all of a sudden I'll be out. Unlike the guy from Whistle Pig, I'm not going to get a $50 million walk out the door fee with me.
No, you get a bag of gummy worms and
Gummy worms.
slap on the ass.
Right. Well, I'll take
Crawford.
it. Slap on the ass.
Oh, God.
The podcast.
Now it's interesting.
That is about the value of the podcast right now. One solid slap on the ass.
And a bag of Haribo Twin Snake gummies.
So, Scott, were you able to find the mash bill?
I was, yeah. It's 84% corn, 8% rye, and 8% malted barley. All three of their expressions are the same.
Well, once again, I feel like Scott and I have been living deep in rye world recently.
We have been.
And it's something I really enjoy, but every now and then I just like to take a nice trip to a sweet caramel vanilla experience. Let's see where this is.
Yeah.
Let's take it on the nose.
Okay. I mean, you're getting all the traditional bourbon notes on the nose.
Yeah.
There's some fire and depth to it, too. It's not a thin smell.
No,
No,
it's not.
very light at all.
So what's the proof? 93?
93. I'm using a neat tasting glass.
Yeah. You have a Norling glass, yeah.
Yeah, I knew mine was different.
Because we only have two. We haven't gotten the sponsorship from the Neat Glass Company yet.
Okay.
Yet. Siobhan, that's your job also.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'll add that to my list of
Right,
things
promotion.
to do.
Yeah, jot that down.
Okay, so wow. I agree. I'm getting oak, vanilla, caramel. I don't get any fruits.
I'm getting cherry.
You always have to disagree with me.
No, I thought I was really
I
getting-
just said, I just said I'm not getting it for you. Like, I get cherry. It's like right after I
That's
said
like
it.
the first thing that came to my head. And I was
No,
like,
I'm
oh,
just
no.
kidding. You're allowed. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
But although you had been eating gummy worms.
Right. Oh my God, I'm getting gummy worms. It's amazing.
I smell sour apple, peach,
and purple.
and blue raspberry.
This corn, so much corn.
Yeah.
84%, of course.
Alcohol comes straight through.
I believe I got a pretty good price for this. I've seen the MSRP of this around 49. I've got this like 41, 42.
I think it has too much bite.
Well, the answer to that is you throw it on a little bit of water or ice.
Yeah,
And I just did.
Yeah, we're all going to do that. Yeah. Now you're just getting like,
Much better.
sweetness.
Yeah.
The heat is much reduced.
Well,
Absolutely nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't blow me away.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's got some fire, more fire than you think for even 93. It starts out really, really good, And like we've experienced a few times
Yeah.
with okay whiskeys, the finish, all I have is alcohol.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't have
100%.
That's the only drawback. So overall, I think it would actually be a really good mixer for a Manhattan because it's got the fire. It'll really hold up with the vermouth. If you do an old fashioned, I don't think it's overly sweet.
And you know what else? There's nothing uniquely distinct about it either.
No.
Right. Which is not the greatest thing you want to hear when you're sipping it by itself, but it is kind of cool when you're talking about a cocktail.
Correct.
I found a review on Whiskey Wash. The palate says a little harsh and dry with a mild burn and flashes of smoked wood.
Yeah, I'm right with that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
The sugar maple process gives it a crisp, smooth, agave-like sweetness, almost like vanilla cupcakes baking in the oven, or
Okay.
fresh, fragrant flower fields on a
No.
warm spring day.
Jesus
No.
Christ almighty.
And no.
Just went off the rails.
Listen.
And no.
Right.
He's going along
Now-
fine, and then he fell off his bicycle.
Smells like brownies with walnuts.
Now listen, it started out
gummy worms.
just like you said. There was vanilla. If you want to say vanilla cupcake on the first sip with some caramel on the, all right. But it goes right to what he said, the dry, woody,
Yeah.
unsweet palate. And then the finish is fire and
Alcohol.
and- yeah.
Yes. Because at first
Now-
I was like, when you said it was 93 proof,
Yeah.
I'm like, is it though? Because that alcohol was just
Yeah,
like,
it's
boom,
gonna-
hey.
And
Yeah.
we've been drinking a lot of heavy stuff on here, 120s and all. And
Yeah.
I have to tell you right now, it's hot for its proof.
Definitely.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So here's my thought. If you can get this down 38 to 40 and you want to make drinks with it, I think you got a great whiskey here.
Yeah.
If you're looking to sip this on the rocks, I think you can do better at $45.
Yeah, I think the price for the taste here is exactly what you say. And if it was $10 cheaper, you'd use it for cocktails.
You want me to pay more than I
Right.
would pay for Knob Creek or Woodford Reserve for
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
gonna happen.
this? Legit.
Yeah.
$6, $8 more?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, it's a base expression. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a
It holds up.
Buffalo Trace or,
Right.
a maybe regular Bullet bourbon.
Not mentioning Buffalo Trace until their prices change.
that's right. I'm
and
sorry.
they become more available.
I'll cut that out. Regular Bullet bourbon, maybe,
Yeah, right.
or like the regular Heaven Hill.
Oh, yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
just a base expression. Not great, but not terrible. It's drinkable. It's,
I was
it's
drinking.
fine.
I was drinking Bulleit 10-year and Basil Hayden during my afternoon drinking session today, and and both of them really blow this
Yeah.
right off the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
was there an age statement on this?
it's 7 years.
7 years. The 1856 is 7 proof higher, but it doesn't have an age statement on it. And the Uncle Nearest 1820 is cask strength
Wow.
and aged 11 years.
Wow. Listen, we're going to try that. We're going to come back. Well, maybe we'll do a quick taste. It won't be till like a year from now because we're so freaking booked up. But we will revisit this because I feel like there's more to talk about with this, more to say for the company. But for the 1884, I said what I said.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah,
here.
it's okay.
It's a base
yeah,
expression.
yeah.
Right. Yes, it is.
Yeah, if they had sent it to me, I'd be happier right now. But since I bought it myself, listen, if you want to send us 1820 and 1856, we would definitely do another episode on them and see how they hold up.
And what is our email address again?
It's whiskeytangent@gmail.com.
That's right.
That is Whiskey Tangent, how it is spelled and should be spelled
All right,
at
so-
gmail.com.
We're going to rinse out some glasses.
Walked all over me talking the email address again.
I thought he gave the email address.
Yeah, but I was doing it again.
Oh,
Come on, Ed. Come on. It's all ha-has.
I was trying to take us to the next section, but now wait, someone else do it.
Oh my God.
You want me to do it? I can
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, what are we doing?
Exactly. So anyway, we're going to clean out some glasses, and we're going to be back with the George A. Dickel.
Okay, so we're back, and we're going to try the George Dickel bottled in bond. But first, Ed's going to give you a little bit of history about George Dickel, the company, and everything.
Right. So this George Dickel is the 11-year. Now, the 13-year bottled and bond is the one that made waves and won all the awards. And so I'm still very, very excited about getting a chance to test it. I got it online from Flaviar, free shipping for $51.99, which I thought was a decent price because, once again, it's like Buffalo Trace was marketing the George Dickel 13-year because that was setting some interesting records for how much money you pay for a bottle of George Dickel.
Yeah.
Very
Seriously.
hard to find. It was all sold out. But if I did see it listed, it was well over $150.
Yeah. We're going to pretend that this is very similar to that.
The bottom line is it's 11 years old. It's bottled in bond. I'm excited.
Sure.
And it's important to understand that George Dickel has nothing to do with this whiskey, nor has it ever been his recipe. It's more of an
Homage.
yes.
It doesn't speak French.
I would have said they were paying homage to him,
Oh, yeah.
Well, you could
that's-
say that too.
That is correct.
but I like it
Scott's
better.
just an elitist.
I like it better when you say it's
An homage.
to him. So George A. Dickel was born in Germany.
Vine.
In 1818 and immigrated to the United States quite a bit later, 1844. So he
well, before the Nazis.
Right, he grew up in Germany. Well, yeah, 100, almost 100 years before the Nazis.
Right. That's what I was waiting for.
Well, I mean, in the 1840s, the largest area of immigrants was Germans and Irish, which is where my relatives came.
Yeah, mine too.
Right. For all I know, my great-grandfather was on a boat with George Dickel coming over. And why wasn't he? He could have been. In fact, he was.
You can't prove me
Yeah,
wrong.
right. They played cards on the boat. They had a great time. Talked about whiskey. So after the Civil War, he operated a liquor store at South College Street in Nashville. In the late 1860s, he founded George A. Dickel Company, a wholesaling firm which bought whiskey from regional distillers. So if you think about it, George Dickel was way ahead of his time. He doesn't make any of his own whiskey as far as growing it. He gets some from regional distillers and puts it into his own barrels, jugs, and bottles. So the whiskey was being produced in a place called Cascade Hollow near Tullahoma, Tennessee, by John F. Brown and F. E. Cunningham in the 1870s. So they were making the whiskey. He was taking it, mixing it together, and bottling it. Okay. So in 1879, a guy named Matt Sims bought Brown's share of the operation, and by the early 1890s, Cascade whiskey was one of the more popular brands of the Tennessee region. The Cascade label included the phrase "mellow as moonlight," which was rooted in Davis's method of cooling the mash at night.
Oh.
So, following an accident in 1886, George Dickel's health declined, and this guy named Schwab gradually took control of the wholesaling firm's daily operations. In 1888, Schwab purchased Sims' share of Cascade Distillery, and so the terms of that purchase made Dickel & Company the sole distributor of Cascade.
Well.
So, throughout the early 1900s, Schwab fought vehemently against the rising calls for prohibition, and in spite of his efforts, Tennessee enacted prohibition in 1910, which is like 10 years earlier than everybody else.
Yeah.
This forced Cascade operations to relocate to the Stitzel Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, interesting.
Right. And what Stitzel got to produce during Prohibition.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when Kentucky went full Prohibition in 1917, Cascade had to shut down operations. In 1933, National Prohibition was repealed. 4 years later, Schwab's heirs sold Cascade brand to Schenley Distilling Company. The recipe had never been written down, and so they had to go find two former distillers from Cascade Hollow site to figure out how to make that recipe again.
Oh.
Long story short, 1956, Schenley tried to buy Jack Daniel's brand, and after that was refused, he decided to instead return to one of their own brands to its roots and compete against Jack Daniel's. And the new distillery was a mile from the old distillery site in Cascade Hollow, but still utilizes the waters of the Cascade branch and the Lincoln County processing for mellowing. And George Dickel's Tennessee whiskey was first bottled in 1964. Schenley had to shut down the Tennessee bottling operations in the 1980s, and since then the whiskey's hauled in tanker trucks for bottling elsewhere. Various mergers and buyouts have resulted in Diageo owning the Dickel brand. So I think we've waited long enough to at least start to approach what this tastes like.
Yeah, the mash bill of this is very close to the Uncle Nearest. It's 84% corn, as Uncle Nearest was, 10% rye and 6% malted barley. The Uncle Nearest was 8 and 8. This is a bottle and bond, so the proof is 100.
Right. And smell it.
I'm getting cherry again.
Are you?
Right. Once again, gummy worms.
Are you still eating gummy worms?
I am. I'm actually chewing one right now. As we speak.
Well, it's throwing your whole palate off. What are you doing?
Yeah, but I like whiskey better when I have gummy worms in my mouth, Scott.
Can I just say I get a little bit of oak hardwood floor?
Oh, on the nose?
Wood paneling. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
The throwback.
Throwback to the 70s
To leather.
when we were children.
No, to leather.
I have to agree with you, though. I definitely,
Yeah,
I definitely smell the
definitely
oak.
Yeah.
Hey, I do smell oak. I'll be honest.
And I'm actually do smell a little leather now that she's mentioning it. She's putting it in my head.
Interesting. So I don't have the tasting notes of the 11 year, but I do have it of the 13 year. And on the nose, dry corn, toffee, oak, vanilla Necco,
Oh my God, the Necco. Fucking Necco. Come on.
Is anyone getting any cinnamon?
citrus peels,
Oh, I was going to say oranges.
and Twizzlers.
Finally!
Shavonne has been waiting for a year for Twizzlers to show up.
Oh my God, we gotta ring a bell. I want to hear popcorn. I want to hear fireworks. I want to hear a moo cow. I want to hear it all.
Oh, so this is interesting with a little bit of cocoa and mustiness.
Now, all right.
Mustiness.
Now you lost.
Like
me.
your
Well, no, like you were saying, like oak, like the paneling and the leather couch and the
yeah, it's like a
like my grandfather's
different-
basement.
yes,
Yeah.
very retro like.
I mean, vanilla Necco was just obnoxious.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's just unnecessary.
Yeah. All right, so are we tasting?
Wow. This is way better than the Uncle Nearest.
It is.
It is very rich.
It's dense.
There's a lot that's going on there. It's almost like a taste explosion.
It's syrupy. It is 7 proof higher than the Uncle
Yeah.
Nearest.
Is anybody else getting more sweetness?
Oh, it's very sweet. It's very corn forward. It's vanilla, caramel, very traditional bourbon notes. The finish on this is exactly what wasn't there a minute ago.
Right. The finish before was just
Yeah.
alcohol.
Yes.
Now you're getting the
Oh my
traditional
gosh.
bourbon notes. You're getting
Yeah.
oak. You're getting some spice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I like this a lot. I really do.
I do
And
like it.
Even though it's the high
it's
corn
growing
bourbon.
on me.
Yeah.
Put on some water.
Even though it has a lot of things going on,
Mm-hmm.
it's really good. Did you try with? Oh, you have the ice there.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
it's gonna.
It opens it up even
This
more.
seriously lends itself to 6 to 8 drops of some distilled water or a small cube, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting more of the like sort of the leathery taste
Yeah, it's
with
look-
the ice
Absolutely,
on
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And I know leather doesn't sound like it would be a good thing, but it really is. in this
It's
case.
kind of like it tastes the way leather smells.
Yeah.
All right, so on the palate, oak, dried corn, citrus zest, toffee, cocoa powder, vanilla Necco,
Can you just censor that and not say that?
and not say it.
Yeah.
And a light something that makes me think of strawberry shortcake
I mean, let me try it again.
Probably the strawberryness of the strawberry Twizzlers.
of the Twizzlers that he was smelling. Yeah.
Yeah.
The finish is medium long, which I think we agree with.
I
Yes,
agree.
okay.
With
Oh,
that.
oak, dried corn, and spice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting so much citrus.
Yeah.
When before I added the ice, the citrus was like
I just want to say that I did take out vanilla Necco again.
Yeah, I'm
Very
smelling.
herbaceous.
I mean, I
Herbaceous.
actually am tasting. I tasted no citrus until I put it on some ice.
I'm not even really tasting that. I don't know why.
I tasted
Try
it more
again.
without. Try again, or you're going to fall down
Right.
some stairs.
Random belligerents, tasting notes edition.
Threatening belligerence. Try again. I think you taste exactly what I taste, or what I tell you to taste.
Wow, that's it. I think we all like it. What do you think?
Yeah, I like
thought
it a
was
lot.
great. A lot.
So we're going to take another short break, and we're going to break out the Corsair, their samples.
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Break me off a piece of that applesauce. Everybody who watches The Office know exactly
Oh,
what
it's
I'm
The
talking
Office. I
about.
never watched
I watch The Office every episode. I have no idea what that's from. I cannot remember. It's so obscure.
Give me a break.
I know.
Give
Look
me
at
a break. Break me off a piece of that Chrysler car. Because the dude couldn't remember what the ending was, so he just kept trying to figure out the jingle.
Yeah, I never watched The Office. I'm sorry.
It's so funny, and
actually,
I find it
you would enjoy
hilarious.
it.
I've seen every episode, and I don't remember that one.
No,
That's a great
No, I'm
episode.
sorry. Remember, I'm starting to remember now. But
Was it Andy?
Was it Andy? Yeah, I think it was Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
There
the
you
other
go.
guy knew but wouldn't tell him.
Right, of course, Jim.
Jim would not tell him.
He was like, "No, you almost got it. What is it?
You almost got it, bro.
Yeah, you're halfway there.
Yes.
So,
All right.
take a break.
Yeah,
Now, the Corsair, listen, we've been waiting to try this for a while. I think Corsair has been waiting us to try it for a long
they
time.
have been.
They sent us these bottles
Like in August.
because we were talking about doing this with them, and we've been booked up a bit, but we didn't want to rush. We wanted to create a whole episode around it, which we've done. We brought in other Tennessee whiskeys so that we could taste Corsair kind of like in their own environment and with their peers, and really give the type of feedback that I think they deserve.
Yeah, we had this idea to make the United States whiskey and go around to highlight small craft distillers for a while. And then the opportunity came up with Corsair. And I was like, Ed, why don't we just pick a couple other Tennessee ones and then just do a whole episode
Right.
about that?
And while I think that there's stronger whiskey states in Tennessee, I think that New York has a good claim to that.
Sure.
But I think when you think of right over the border from Kentucky is
Right.
Tennessee, and
Right.
like some of their distilleries have kind of spilled over there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we thought that'd be a great place to start. We're not doing Kentucky, so we're really only doing the 49 states.
That's right.
But who knows? Maybe after we've done the other 49, there'll be enough small boutique distilleries in Kentucky. We'll go back and break down and finish it up. By that point, I will have cirrhosis, so it won't matter.
This is episode 642. I'm
Right.
Scott.
Man, and we both have like Duck Dynasty beards at this point. Like, all right, so we're gonna take a quick break so we can actually get through this episode because we still have 2 more whiskeys to try: the Dark Rye and the Triple Smoke. having re-washed the glasses like we've done before, we're now coming back, and we're excited because we have the first of the Corsair offerings, the Dark Rye, and it actually looks almost identical to the George Dickel in color. It's a beautiful amber color to it. Don't you feel the same way?
Yeah, I do.
So Scott's going to give us a little bit of a 411 on the Corsair.
Yeah, so these guys, another one, the last of our summer outreaches to us to try their whiskeys. This was in August. We've been saving it, as we said.
Right. We've talked to Sexton, the Fistful of Bourbon guys, being Centauri.
About Legion.
And then, like I'm missing one.
Barrel.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
the barrel, right? We did the barrel with the Eva. But I figured there's more probably coming. But
We do have another one.
oh, right. Yeah.
But they haven't got back to me yet.
No, right.
Okay, so like the barrel, this company was pretty new, so calling this a history is a little weird. But here it goes. Derek Bell and Andrew Weber, natives of Nashville and childhood friends, began homebrewing wine and beer in Derek and his wife Amy Lee's garage sometime in the early 2000s. At the same time, they were working on a way to make ethanol biofuel for their personal use. You know, like you do.
It's a great nail polish remover right here.
When they hit a snag, prompting Andrew to remark that distilling spirits would be a whole lot more fun. And so the two found themselves on a very different path. They traveled to the Bulleit distillery in Scotland to learn more about the distilling process and serendipitously discovered the inspiration for their brand. 3 well-dressed, inebriated men stumbling out of a pub. Amy Lee snapped a picture and a logo was born. But upon returning home in 2008, the trio discovered that operating a commercial distillery in Nashville, Tennessee was actually prohibited. So they were forced to travel 1 hour north up Route 65 to start the Corsair Artisan Distillery in Bowling Green, Kentucky, named after the French word for pirate. And there began distilling gin and rum. And just 2 years later, after successfully lobbying to change the city's distilling laws, they started a second operation back in their native Nashville, thus becoming the first distillery in that city since Prohibition.
That's crazy.
Right?
I would have thought there was a dozen.
Yep. And as Nashville has grown, Corsair has grown with it. Utilizing a product philosophy of innovate or die, they began creating unique expressions of not only gin and rum, but also of whiskey and even absinthe. Playing around with different combinations of woods, aging methods, and mash bills, and experimenting with non-standard grains such as triticale, buckwheat, oatmeal, sunflower, and even quinoa.
I gotta tell you, I wish somebody would play around with my wood for a while. But I respect them. And I saw the quinoa
At the lounge, Anders had a bottle.
And
yeah.
I was like, and I actually didn't have the guts to try it. I'm like,
No.
I just kind of mad at myself now for not trying it. I will go back and try it.
Yeah, these guys are really unique.
Yeah, I give them a lot of credit for that.
With each one of these, though, they had to fight with the U.S. government
Yeah.
as to what's even allowed to be called a whiskey. So each new innovation and all these
Right.
different grains, because nobody had ever really done this and wanted to call it a whiskey. So in 2016, Corsair opened its doors to a second Nashville location, providing them not only with more space for the production of craft spirits on a larger scale, but also allowing them to return to their first love, brewing beer, at what is now called the Marathon Village Brew Stillery.
Aw.
Yeah, but whatever type of alcohol they're serving up, it's all what they call Nashville in a bottle. And they mean that literally, sourcing nearly all of their grains locally, smoking all of their grains themselves, and even using honey from their own beehives. And it's apparently a winning formula for success. For without much of an advertising budget to speak of, their extensive lineup of creative spirits has won over a host of drinkers, bartenders, and reviewers alike, garnering them a devoted, almost cult-like following and more than 800 awards in just a little over a decade's time.
Wow, that's really impressive.
It
I didn't
really
realize, I did not realize all that was going on with them.
And a cult-like following
Yeah.
is an awesome following.
Yeah,
You know
sure.
why? Because you have a lot of people who are paying attention to detail.
Yes, that's right. So what's next for Corsair? Well, the owner said in 2018 that they were starting to work with a local vintner to experiment with grapes sourced from their own 300-acre farm. But can you even make whiskey out of grapes? Well, no, you can't. But maybe we should say not yet, because given their history, if anyone's up for that challenge, I'm not sure I'd wager any bets against the daring whiskey pirates of Corsair Artisan Distilleries.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like I know them so much better now from your bio. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. Most of that was information that they sent me. I looked up a couple articles on them. They really seem like interesting
I would
people.
expect them to like them. So.
And Amy Lee,
Yeah.
Derek's wife,
Sure.
is from New Jersey.
No.
Yeah.
See, I was just sitting there thinking, Amy Lee, that sounds like a nice Tennessee girl to me, right? I'm glad I didn't say it in context because I look like a dumbass. So, where in Jersey? Do we know where she's from?
No, unfortunately I don't.
right.
But it said New Jersey native. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool.
Well, maybe we'll find out.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify that the first two whiskeys that we tasted, the Uncle Nearest and the George Dickel Bottle and Bond, are Tennessee whiskeys, which is a legal term, basically a bourbon that has gone through the Lincoln County process, which is the filtering through charcoal, and is made in Tennessee. And neither of these two that Corsair sent are Tennessee whiskeys, even though obviously they were distilled in Tennessee.
Right.
So we got the Dark Rye first.
Let's smell this because I'm
Yeah.
smelling it right now from my glass before I even brought it up.
It smells awesome.
Wow. This smells way more fragrant than either of the other two whiskeys.
Absolutely.
This is so sweet.
I smell cherries.
I smell cherries and almonds.
Yeah.
So the mash bill is 61% malted rye,
Oh, wow.
4% malted chocolate rye, and 35% malted barley. So it's all malted.
There's no corn at all.
There's
in it.
no corn at all. The proof is 85, so not really that alcohol forward. And get this, the age is only 8 months.
Really?
Yeah.
This is some kind of hydroponic whiskey that we're
No,
drinking.
I keep smelling it. It smells amazing.
It smells. There's something that's so sweet and nectarish about
I mean,
it.
I'm almost afraid to taste it and be disappointed because this
I
is
know.
one of the best
Yeah.
smelling whiskeys I've ever smelled. Honestly.
Yeah, on the nose, you're supposed to smell wood, malty sweet, char, dark cocoa, dried dark fruit, pastries, and a touch of menthol, copper, spice, and nuts.
There's actually a lot going on
There's so
with it.
much going on.
Like, I mean, I'm really trying to figure everything I'm smelling. I'm smelling like 6 or 7 different things here.
I'm
It's-
smelling the strawberries now.
Yeah, like a berry, like a cereal, almost like
Crunch-
Captain Crunch
berries.
berries.
Yes.
crunch berries. I mean, I'm actually with you on that.
Oh my God. Yes.
It totally smells like that. All right, we got to taste it now. The anticipation is too much.
Man, that's really good. I like that a lot.
Wow, that is interesting.
Wow. I mean,
So many flavors.
I think there's officially too many flavors.
how is it? What
Officially.
makes it this sweet?
It's like cocoa. I'm
trying
getting so
to.
much cocoa.
Yeah, I'm trying to like.
I guess it's because it's all malted. That's what's making it sweeter.
Maybe.
I'm gonna add.
I'm
gonna pour it on the ice.
I am so tasting the chocolate rye in there.
Wow. I mean, I could drink this all day. This is phenomenal.
now
Like
you
this.
want
I
to
don't-
talk about really putting together a Manhattan.
Oh, this would be
shit.
amazing in a Manhattan.
It
It would totally
absolute-
put it in a different
I mean,
direction.
you'd have to take the vermouth down, but holy cow, I'm still trying to figure out all the complexity of this.
You're trying it on the ice.
Yeah, I have to tell you,
I don't even want to put it on the ice because it's 85 proof. I don't think I need it.
I don't think it's better on the ice than it is in its pure form. I think neat is the way to drink this.
I agree.
The cocoa flavor to me is so dominant with this. It really does taste like a cereal. The crunch berries I had before, but now it's almost like a Cocoa Puffs.
When enough people try this, and I can tell some people are kind of like, well, it's not really my thing. When enough
Wait,
people,
wait. What are they gonna say?
You say that.
I don't know if really malted. I mean, it's not really. It's not really the way it's not really traditional. Shitting on it. But I'll tell you right now, when they came up with this and this came out of the barrel, they had to be like, oh yeah, bro. Hell yeah, high five around because this is delicious.
When I breathe out of my nose, I'm sort of experiencing some like nutty flavors, like almonds or
No, it's
right, like
almonds, but also like a little, almost like a pecan.
you know what? I peeked at the palate notes. Hazelnuts.
All right, yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely see
See,
that. Yeah.
that's been ruined for me by coffee.
Right.
The actual hazelnut is completely different than hazelnut
Yeah,
coffee.
it's sort of like the imitation
grape.
banana versus actual banana.
yes,
Right.
Yeah.
yes.
So on the palate, you're supposed to taste oak, copper, malt, char, dark cocoa, cherries, baking spice, hazelnuts with a bit of menthol, dried dark fruits, cereal grains, and nuts.
Oh, they're the cereal grains.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
There's our crunch berries.
Yeah. On the finish, medium to long with cereal grain, malty sweetness, and dark cocoa fading to spice, oak, and char. I mean, yeah, all that.
That is all there, and I think then some. I don't know if it's just the mixture of the flavors that makes me feel like there's something else in there that I'm missing.
Maybe because they're all dancing together. and
Right. Without the ice, without the water, it's an explosion.
I am
Yeah.
stunned at how unique and delicious this is. Me
too.
I mean, like when someone solicits you to check out their whiskey and they're nice enough to send you a bottle, the biggest fear is like, what if I hate it?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
What if I hate this like I hated James
No.
E. Pepper,
No.
So I have to be like, hey, thanks for sending me a bottle, but this is ass. But the reality is, not only is it delicious, it's really unique. Like I'm trying to put this into Scott, what's this closest to that you've ever tried?
I mean, I don't even know. I remember we tried the Woodford Reserve chocolate malt at the tasting at the lounge before COVID shut everything
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
and this is better than that. I remember tasting that and going, yeah, I can kind of taste the chocolate notes in that. But this is incredible. And can we just talk about 8 months?
Oh God, yeah.
It hasn't even gone a full season of cycle of winter and summer.
If you could hear the look that I gave you when you said that the first
she did look
time.
at me. She snapped her head around and went like, what?
Wait,
Like,
I'm sorry.
that's not even possible.
You didn't hear that before?
You said that this is only 8 months
8
8 months.
months.
in the barrel.
Yeah.
That's
Not
it.
even a
That's it.
full-term child in the womb.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's premature child womb whiskey.
How are they doing this? I don't taste that. Oh my
Premature
God.
whiskey.
I know, isn't it incredible? It's incredible.
What would this taste like at 4 or 5 years?
You don't remember when I asked if this is like some kind of hydroponic whiskey? I was like, how is that even possible?
I did, but I think I was so in my
Right,
own mind.
he was in
I
it.
was trying to taste it, and I
Yeah.
was going through my mind about what I was tasting. And I was hearing you guys talk, but I wasn't like paying attention to the thread, just what you were saying.
Well, it's funny that you said what you said, Ed, because when I was looking up the tasting notes at Whiskey Jug, he actually said the same thing. It's like every time I taste a Corsair, I'm always surprised at how much flavor they're able
Right.
to get out of the barrel in such a short amount of time. I really want to know if they just left it for 4 or 5 years, what extraordinary flavors they could could have.
If I had to guess, I would say that's something that they've already done. And
mean-
maybe
Or they're doing.
it didn't make a difference.
Maybe, right. Or as Ed said, or maybe they're doing it and they're
Yeah.
and they're waiting
Right.
to
I mean,
release it.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, their tenure would be coming out next year. Basically, they were only 10 years old.
Yeah,
so-
they're only
True.
from, yeah.
So
I
mean,
can't see them not doing that.
wow, 8 months. I mean,
I know.
I mean,
I'm blown away.
I thought what Willet was able to do with their like 3 and 4
3 and 4 years, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
They can get so much
Rye.
flavor out of that.
I thought they were like the stars of the accelerated aging, but
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. And apparently nobody else does either.
It's a secret.
Yes, it's a secret. Wow.
wow. So I'm interested to try the triple smoke now. We definitely have to take a second to stop and clean out these glasses.
Yeah, we
because
weren't going to stop, but I think we need to stop.
flavor is so distinctive of this whiskey that these glasses have to be completely clean.
Yeah.
We should.
Well, it'll be a small stop.
Yeah.
And you guys won't even notice.
No, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hey.
So we're back. Finally. It's what seems like seconds to you was 20 minutes plus to us
At least.
as we went on multiple tangents that didn't appear on air.
But may later.
Laughter, food, fights, arguments, completely unrelated to podcasting. And now we're back with the triple smoke, which we were excited as hell when they sent it because we felt that it was one of the most unique expressions that they have. So Scott, tell us a little bit about what we're dealing with now.
Yeah, they had several that they offered to have us taste. They got a Tennessee single malt, a spiced rum. They got gins, a barrel gin, a villanella bean vodka. They even have an absinthe. But we picked the whiskeys. We also, though, did pick a barrel gin that may be on a future episode.
We were just saving that so we can highlight that by itself.
Yeah, so the Dark Rye we've already had, and this is the triple smoke. If you've listened to us, you know that Ed is not a big fan of smoked whiskeys. He's not a big fan of smoky scotches. We've talked about it a lot. This is apparently, though, low on the smoke scale. So
Which I don't understand because it says triple smoke, which sounds like it would be 3 times smoking.
I know, right?
Or a really bad WWE name. Like,
I don't
it's
know.
triple smoke.
triple smoke. But the reason that it's called triple smoke is that they smoke the barley. It's 100% malted barley, by the way, because it's an
Ooh.
American single malt. And so they use 3 different fuel sources to malt the barley. 1/3 of it, they use Wisconsin cherry wood. Another third of it, they use German beech wood. And then the other third of it, they use Scottish peat. Scotland
Sure,
peat
right.
moss, right? The proof is only 80, so it's
Really?
less than the Dark Rye.
Interesting.
And it's only aged, again, 7 months. So on the nose, are you smelling anything in particular?
Smoke.
Wood, definitely.
So let's try to get by the smoke and see what else is
Yeah,
there.
see if there's anything.
Smells good. There's some like sugary,
Yeah, there's some sugary notes in there.
like a little burnt vanilla.
some sort of burnt almond.
Oh,
almost.
interesting. A burnt nut. Something.
Yeah.
Toasted
I didn't
nuts.
want to say nuts. Yeah.
Like a toasted nut.
There is quite a bit of a leathery aftertaste.
Okay.
Just
After smell.
no.
Oh, you tasted
Oh,
it.
oops! I thought we had tasted it. already. Sorry,
We
guys.
all actually did taste it
You're right.
by accident.
I don't dislike this, but the smoke is very muted.
There's some sweetness, like candy. Like
Yes. Yes.
I mean, maybe a little bit of citrus. Maybe.
Citrus is definitely on the nose. Now,
Yeah.
when I drank it, I really wasn't catching it. But now that you mention it, I think I get it at the end. But there's also, to me, the overpowering of the leather at the end. So there's a little mishmash there.
You're right. There's more citrus on the nose than on the palate. I agree. Wow. That's interesting.
Again, I don't know that I've tasted anything quite like this. Not that I've had dozens of smoky scotch, enough to know what a smoky scotch tastes like. It's definitely the gateway drug to Ardbeg. If you don't like Ardbeg right now, if you drank this for a year, I think you'd be able to slide into it okay.
Like with the Dark Rye, there's so much going on. There's so many flavors to me.
How are they making this shit in 7 months?
I don't know.
Like, they got to be pretty money over there. If they can put this out in less than a year, I'm in all of this.
Yeah, there's smoke and there's sweetness and there's savory notes, like you were saying, Shavonne, like leather. On the nose, you're supposed to have caramel, toffee, citrus, char, fresh herbs, orange candy, and a light peppermint with just a touch of smoke. On the palate, charred wood, sweet barbecue smoke, malt sweetness, light grain, butterscotch, fudge with light notes of mesquite and young wood sawdust.
For me, the smoke's on the finish. I don't get it a lot while I'm drinking it. It's when I swallow, the smoke is waiting for me.
So
Yes, that is quite the aftertaste.
Whiskey Jug says the
You
smoke.
agree, Shavonne?
Oh, yeah.
The smoke is much more present on the palate, and it's awesome. I feel like I'm eating ribs, but I'm drinking whiskey.
That might be taking it a step too far.
Yeah, I mean, he does tend to take it.
Maybe if I had a pizza pepperoni in my mouth.
But listen to the finish. Medium in length and layered with notes of smoke, butterscotch, fudge, sugar cookies, and barbecue.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I don't like it better than the Dark Rye.
I like it better than Lagavulin.
So this is Ed's favorite smoky malt.
Absolutely. It's my favorite smoked whiskey of all time. The Triple Smoke by Corsair is my favorite smoked whiskey.
That's really
I
saying
know the
something.
Ardbeg and Lafroy people are just crashing their cars on the highway, but the reality is
But
this
that's
is my
okay.
favorite, not yours.
That's okay. So now I have some Tennessee fun facts. If you want to kind of. Tennessee became the 16th state in 1796.
Okay.
It is 112 miles from north to south, 432 miles from the peaks of the Appalachian Mountains in the east to the Mississippi River in the west. Mississippi. Its capital, Nashville, was founded on Christmas Eve, 1779, and is now known as the country music capital of the world. Today's population is nearly 7 million.
That's a lot of folks.
Making it the 16th most populous state.
So we still have more.
Oh, New Jersey?
Yeah. It's
oh,
crazy.
fuck yeah.
It's amazing as small as we are.
Yeah.
They're a pretty big state. I drove through Tennessee once.
Did you? Yeah. I've never been to Tennessee. Have you ever been to Tennessee?
No, I really want to go and see Loretta Lynn's ranch house and her plantation mansion. I also would like to go there and see the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah. Its nickname is the Volunteer State for all of the volunteer soldiers that participated in the Battle of New Orleans during the War of 1812 and the Mexican-American War between 1846 and 1848.
I did not know that.
It has 95 counties.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? Only 10 of which are wet.
Right.
Where the
That's
sale of
strange.
alcohol beverages is allowed. 9 are completely dry, including Moore County, home to the Jack Daniels Distillery.
Interesting.
Where the sale of their whiskey is only allowed in their gift shop and or if you drink it in sample amounts on their distillery tour.
Right.
The other 76 counties are termed moist. where listen to this, where the sale of alcohol is restricted in some way or another. For example, in Decatur County, you can only sell liquor by the drink in restaurants with a dining capacity of 75 or greater if it's located within 3 miles of the Tennessee River.
Wow. That's a lot of
What the fuck
that's a
type
lot
of
of
thing is
if-then
that?
statements.
Get your shit together.
Right.
That's crazy.
Anybody hazard a guess as to what the state beverage is?
Sweet tea or something terrible.
Is it whiskey? Is it Kool-Aid? Is it Tang? I need a hint.
It's white.
Milk? Yay! I got it right.
Their fucking state beverage is milk.
Is it Lactaid? Because that's the kind of milk that I would need.
Are you lactose intolerant?
When it comes to milk, yeah, like I'm okay with ice cream, but like
You know what's bad for
regular
me
milk?
is yogurt.
Really?
I can't take yogurt.
I don't have
I
any
can
issues
take
with yogurt.
cheese and milk and ice cream. I'm fine with that. But
Yeah.
yogurt goes
It goes gurgle,
Wow.
gurgle, gurgle.
gurgle, 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 wet poop.
Wow. We're definitely cutting that. That's unnecessary.
No,
No,
that's
that has
hysterical.
to
It's not
stay
funny.
in.
It's not- wet poop is not funny. If I have to turn this podcast around.
That's right. You are driving. It has more caves than any other state at nearly 10,000.
Do you think somebody's living in any of those caves?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Like creepy
absolutely.
motherfuckers. Yeah. Do you ever see The Descent?
You ever see The Hills Have Eyes?
Oh, Jesus. Which are home to two things: the largest underground lake in the United States, as well as an enormous bat population.
Wow.
Comprising
Really?
15 different species that collectively save farmers over $300 million in pesticides each year because they eat so many bugs. I have a list of famous people
Okay.
who were born in Tennessee. Musicians Greg and Dwayne Allman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Patriot Davy Crockett.
And where'd Davy Crockett die at? The Alamo.
I remember. Get it?
Yes, I get it.
Actress Kathy Bates.
Ooh.
She's 72. Actor Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
He's 83. Wrestler Ric Flair. He's 71.
Wow.
Singer Aretha Franklin.
Dead.
Yes.
Yeah. Singer Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Born in Tennessee. Actress Sybil Shepherd.
Interesting.
Director Quentin Tarantino.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
Actor singer Justin Timberlake.
That's right.
Wow, I did
Yes,
not
he
know that.
is.
Yeah, he's only 39.
He's been famous since he was like 9.
I know, exactly. Singer Tina Turner.
From Nutbush.
How many
You
names?
got Nutbush City Limit.
How many names did you get? And 275. Gene Simmons, the Undersecretary of the Navy, 1964, and Bob Blake, he was a director of ABC Nightline, and then
ABC Nightline. No, here, you'll like this one. Sports legend Reggie White. In your face, bitch!
Am I right? Yeah, the Minister of Defense.
Very important to Eagles fans everywhere.
Absolutely.
I guess.
He didn't win a Super Bowl with the Eagles, but he
with
did.
with Green Bay.
Yeah, with Green Bay. He died at 43 in 2004.
You're very weird.
Oh my God,
very,
I forgot that he died.
Very
Yeah.
strange death. Very strange death.
Elvis Presley was not born in Tennessee, but he moved there with his family when he was 13. And Memphis, of course, is home to his former home/museum, Graceland.
Only thing about Graceland is everything that's in the house is exactly the same way it was the day that Elvis died.
Were you in
Creepy.
Graceland?
So that
Did
is
you go?
super-
Did you?
No,
Oh.
no. I mean, like, I was supposed to go there for work, and people were like, "Oh, we should do that." And I'm like, "No,
it's
because
creepy.
I will creep myself out and drive myself insane."
His corpse is still sitting on the toilet.
Yes,
Oh.
absolutely, yes. He's still trying
Wow.
to
Right.
get that turd out.
Sorry. In 1868, a four-legged girl named Josephine Myrtle Corbin was born in Lincoln County, and she had two pelvises
Jesus.
side by side with two complete sets of internal
Oh,
and external
wow.
sexual organs. She married at 19, had several children, and died, ironically, from a leg infection.
I actually have nothing for that.
I don't even know what to say.
I mean, so
They
basically,
couldn't amputate
ba-
at least one of those legs?
basically she could, I mean, I have to say it. So she could be having sex with two guys completely differently.
She could. Yeah.
I mean, you think she had to do that once in her life, right?
Well, apparently she
Wouldn't you?
She preferred it on the right side. No, it says that in the Wikipedia article. And here's the picture of her.
Oh, wait. So her middle legs look like that of a child.
Yeah, so her outer legs are actually functioning legs that she could walk on, but she had two inner legs that were diminutive
Yeah.
and just sort of hung there. That's
But she
crazy.
didn't have- how does she have two sexual organs?
Well, like in there.
In there, and then no, so like in there,
Yeah.
and then there again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. I can't get a date to the movies and stuff, but this fucking freaky bitch with 4 legs got married when she's 19.
Well, I don't think anybody's getting a date to the movies nowadays.
Well, that's because there's no movies.
there's
But
no
yeah,
movies.
we
We're
get
like-
what you mean, though.
Sometimes I have like 3 or 4 dates, nothing really pans out, no chemistry. I hear like, yeah, mass murderer in prison for life. Joe Fredericks got married today. I'm like, who the fuck is marrying a fucking serial killer in prison? But I can't get someone to go get a fucking cup of coffee.
Well, that's it. That's all I got. Take us out, Ed.
So we've had a very long and enjoyable tasting night on Tennessee whiskey as we visited the state. We're going to pack up our suitcases and ride back to the East Coast. We want to thank the people at Corsair for reaching out to us and sending us 2 extraordinary whiskeys. Their triple smoke and their dark rye were both amazing. I like the dark rye. It's one of the most unique things I've ever drank.
Absolutely. The Dark Rye is the winner of the night.
They make this shit up
Great.
in like 8 months, like a magic trick.
No,
I don't know
seriously.
how the fuck they do it. I don't know how you guys do it. Really delicious, but definitely I would try both of them and you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, definitely.
The George Dickel Bottle Bond, maybe it's not as good as a 13-year because I never had it, but it was damn good to us. And the Uncle Nearest, we're going to try some of your uptick expressions. It was good, but we take our hat off to Nathan Nearest Green, who was such an innovator in the whiskey industry. So Tennessee, thank you and goodbye. For the Whiskey Tangent Podcast, I'm Ed.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Shavonne.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Later.
If you enjoyed this podcast episode, be sure to check out our next episode, which is way better than this one.
Oh, yeah.
Also, follow and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Whiskey Tangent. And follow us on Twitter at Whiskey Tangent. You can follow me personally at That Whiskey Guy. And follow Scott at Giant Cup of Awesome, spelled AWSUM, just to be annoying.
Hey.
You can email us any questions, comments, or love at whiskeytangent@gmail.com. And of course, you can find us always at our podcast website, whiskeytangent.podbean.com.